Hi, it's Vanessa again. I'm just going to experiment here with Applique. It's just going to be a simple applique, but it won't have layers under layers as such if you auto applique. So it's more of a manual punch style of applique. So bear with me if I go to the wrong place occasionally. Okay, so first of all, I've got my block open. I'm going to go block, new block, Patchdraw Motif, and that's what I'm going to select. I'm in the Applique part of the program. I'm going to grab, with a bit of luck, yep, a heart. It was already selected, but I've been doing various things. So again, I'm going to just drag and draw a heart, and drag and draw another heart. Going to select all these, and I'm just going to click to the top and center. Now I'm just going to grab this second one here because it's not really where I want it. I'm just going to move it up a little bit. Okay, grab them all again and recenter. Now if I was to do that automatically, then you would get a run stitch for placement line, a run stitch for tack down, and then a satin stitch for the applique. That's fine, but that thick satin stitch underneath here can look a bit ugly. So there is a way of actually making sure that that doesn't happen. You've really got to watch what you're doing and remember where you've been. Okay, so to distinguish these two, to start with, I'm just going to color this heart. That's just so that I can keep track of what I'm doing. Now I'm going to select the shape tool, and that shows me that I've got these shapes here, and that shape does continue underneath here. If I just follow roughly where that line is and double click, that gives me some extra points in there. Now just so that you know I'm not spinning you a yarn here, I'll move it to the back. And you can see they're the 2 points that I added. Now there's still not going to be one out here, so I'm just going to make sure there is one out there. Okay, so if I select this line here, I've got the option of splitting. So I'm going to break that curve. So you can see now I have a really large node, and I can actually bring that node up here. If I select that node and right click, I can actually edit it and delete it. Okay, so now this node here, I can actually move to there. Now I'm just going to zoom in on this one just to make sure we haven't got, okay, we have, so I need to straighten that line out. And I'll zoom back out again. I'll grab this one and I'm just going to move this down a fraction, and I need to zoom in. And just straighten that a tad. Zoom back out again. Now you can see that I've got 2 pieces of the hearts. Now I need to select that because I brought it forward. So that is over the top of the patch. So I'm now going to send it back again to the back using this button up here. Okay, so select all again, make sure it's centered just in case you've made a mistake. Okay, so that's number 1. That's your first lot. In other words, your placement lines. I'm now going to go to Edit, Copy, and Edit, Paste. And you can see I have a second one. To distinguish that second one while it's selected, I'm going to select another color. edit, paste again, and this time I'll move it up here, and I'm going to change the color of that one. Okay, back to the applique. Now you're probably thinking that looks really weird, but I'm going to go edit, select all, then I'm going to go to my work on stitching and do edit, paste. Okay, that only brought in that last one that I selected, so I need to delete that. In other words, go back to my block, edit, select all, edit, copy, then open my stitch and say edit, paste. Now you can see I've got all three, and I'm going to center those. If I was to go into stitching now, that's what you see. Not good look. But we can actually change these parts by selecting run stitch, and you can see, if you look really closely, that that's the bottom one, which would make that the next heart. You've got to go outside these. Okay, so just going to change the color of that to red and red. Go to the next outline, which will be this one, and this one and this one, because I went left first. So again, running stitch, running stitch. It's a different color, so I'm not really going to worry much with that one. And the next outline stitch, you can see, is set as steel stitch. So that's fine. I'm just going to select a different color. So you can see now that this is where it's going to stitch with that satin stitch. It's not going to go all the way underneath. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the artwork tab. I'm going to go edit. Sorry, I'm going to pick tool. Okay, this is the first one, so I need that one. Hold down my shift key, grab that one, and hit center. Now I know that the left hand corner was my next one, so I'll hold down my shift key and hit the center. Now I'm going to go to the top one, hold down my shift key and center. Go back to stitching, and that's all you can see because the other layers are actually buried underneath. I'm going to actually add that now to my work table. Then I'm going to go stitching, and I'm going to export stitching file. I'll save it as hearts 2. Whoops, I've got 2 R's in there, can't spell. Hearts 2, and click save. No, don't sort. I've done it, and click OK. So that's just an easy method of doing simple shapes. It would get a lot more complicated if you started doing that with a really complex design. Now if we actually watch that stitch out, and we slow it down a tad so you can actually see what's happening. So that's your first placement, second placement, tack down, tack down, that's your underlay. I'm going to just speed that up a tad. And so you can see that's how it will stitch out. Okay, I hope that helps. I'll come back shortly for another lesson.